Hi, I'm Alison from Alison's Astrology, and I'm here to talk to you about the week that begins tomorrow. That's the 19th of December and ends on the Saturday the 25th. So first of all, I'm wondering, did you catch my video with astrologer Terry on Neptune moving into Aries? Because that's a really big deal. And if you haven't watched it already, then you should definitely check it out. If you're not interested in the general stuff, you can always just skip through to the second half of the video where Terry and I look at Neptune through the houses. And that way you can see what it might mean for you. So it's a big shift, the planet of dreams and ideals moving into the starting sign of the zodiac. So it's a bit like, so what do we dream now? And that happens at the end of March. So you have time to think about it and process it a little bit. So we're starting this week with the sun moving into Aquarius, and so I can't believe it's Aquarius season already. And that's going to happen on Sunday, Sunday the 19th in the evening in the UK, 8 p.m. UK time. And so we're moving from Capricorn, which is a yin sign, so intrinsically quite introverted, brings things into itself, responds and sort of absorbs things. And it's a practical, very practical earth sign, usually ambitious, works hard, into Aquarius, which is much more yang, outgoing, idealistic. Aquarius approaches things through the thinking function. So a very different kind of vibe. And Aquarius is ruled by both Saturn and Uranus. So Saturn's about maintaining these underlying structures and Uranus tears them all down. So there's always this slight conflict within the Aquarian, do I want to kind of stick with this, or am I actually going to sort of go in and mix it all up? And Saturn, of course, is currently in Pisces, has been for a while. So it's adding that underlying empathy to anything that has Saturn, has Capricorn or Aquarius in it. So an underlying kind of compassion and universal empathy, and the idea of actually dreams, but constructive dreams. So, or commitment as well to a dream, because Saturn can be about commitment to a dream or commitment to a situation in which you're required to be compassionate. And, Saturn in Aquarius might require, Saturn in Pisces rather, it might require the odd sacrifice and that independent Aquarian. So Uranus, of course, the co-ruler, is currently in Taurus. Taurus is very focused on our material world, planet, our bodies, our resources, all those kinds of things. And Uranus likes radical change. It likes the future. It likes to mix things up and bring things in so that, we have this sudden difference. It can be about the intervention of science or new ways of communicating. And it's there to try and force us, I would say, but I want to say more like persuade or encourage us to think and understand things differently. And that's what Aquarians are about, looking at things differently and trying to persuade us to understand things differently. They're detached, friendly, but unemotional usually. They can take a step back and they tend to give advice and sympathy rather than kind of that Pisces empathy, which just wants to merge with you. No, Aquarius likes to keep its distance. It can be helpful without actually kind of becoming part of you. So that's good. And they make really loyal friends, and they're good at finding solutions because of their kind of new ways of looking at things. But it is a fixed sign. So people with several planets in Aquarius can sometimes be a little bit entrenched in their opinions. My way or the highway. And sometimes their opinions can be a bit wacky and futuristic, and it can feel like they're being contrary just for the sake of it. But friends are really important to them. So if you're lucky enough to be friends with an Aquarian, they'll be there for you. Randomly, Aquarians quite often have a special affinity with dogs. Don't know why that is. And above all, people with lots of Aquarian planets value personal freedom. Freedom's super important. So, if you've got an Aquarian in your life, then cherish them, but don't expect them to be at your beck and call or anything like that. Don't cramp their slightly weird style, and they'll be there forever. That's great. So let me just show you that on the chart, actually, if I can. I just need to go into sharing mode. This is always slightly challenging. There we are. Yeah, so here we are. And the sun now is down here, just about to move into Aquarius. So we'll do that. That's, yep, just about to move forward into Aquarius. And we can move it forward a day, actually. And we can see that once it's in Aquarius, it's actually the first thing it's going to do is hit Pluto. So this is important. Astrologically, it's important. For us, it's important to just observe what happens when that sun hits Pluto, because this is the first time since Pluto's been in Aquarius that we have the Sun-Pluto conjunction. So the sun is the kind of the focal point of the earth. You know, it's the thing that keeps us alive. It's our outgoing, our energy. It's important. And now it's connecting with Pluto in Aquarius. So this double kind of whammy of changing ideals and you know, the sort of double emphasis on personal freedom, but what that might actually have to transform and change as it contacts Pluto. What, you know, our ideals of personal freedom. It might be that we have to sort of embrace new ideas of personal freedom in order to move forward with our lives, you know, and take on something else that's come into our life since the last contact of Sun and Pluto, which happened right in that very last minute of Capricorn, as if to insist that that was very much the end of something. That was last January. So a new vision of humanity, a Pluto and Sun that are kind of digging down to remold our sense of who we are as people, actually, our ideals of how we should, inverted commas, live. Yeah, so we might have to embrace something that we didn't really want to embrace, but you know that Sun Pluto is coming in to insist that we have this, that we make this transition. And Pluto about regeneration, about clearing out and renewing. And in Aquarius, of course, it's doing this in society. It might even be doing it actually in our friendship groups, in other groups that we belong to. Those are all very Aquarian kinds of things. So that conjunction, yeah, another way of putting it, old structures being shaken up to give way to new versions of those structures. So the sun reaches Pluto actually at 1 degree 43 Aquarius. So if you've got anything at sort of 1 or 2 degrees of the fixed signs, and there we're looking at Taurus. Where are we going after that? We're going to Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius. Then that could be an important day for you. Actually, you could be meeting challenges there where you have to kind of actually make some changes to how you move forward in your life. And the other thing about that day actually is that the North Node last year, when this conjunction happened, was at 19 Aries, and now Chiron is on that point. And it's being squared by Mercury. So it could be that there's some challenging news or challenging ideas around at the same time. It makes you think about that newly orchestrated peace deal, perhaps in the Middle East. But on a personal level, how this impacts us will depend really on where it falls in our charts. But it could suggest a complicated or kind of quite painful discussion as we dig deeply. That's all about the Sun-Pluto, to find out what our ideals really are. You know, what really matters to us. What are the thoughts, the ways of life that are really important. And with Pluto, that might mean giving something up or changing something that's quite dear to us in order to achieve the change that we want in our lives, transformation at a deeper level, in fact. So it's not all doom and gloom. Venus in Pisces is involved. We can see that on the chart, actually. If we just look here, there's Venus in Pisces. And she's kind of making that sextile to Mercury at the same time. That was yesterday, really, that this happened. Yeah. That was the sextile to Mercury as the Sun moved into Pluto. And these Pisces planets, actually with Neptune as well, continue to offer us the hope and the dreams and all those kinds of things. So compassion as well, and she's lining up for her emotional sort of trine to Mars later in the week. So whatever happens, there's a sense that actually there will be a coming together later on in the week, and the goals and the dreams kind of will coincide. Thursday the 23rd, though, Mercury does move to oppose that Mars in Cancer. Let's move on, have a look at Thursday the 23rd here. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, and then we've got Mercury down here in Capricorn being realistic and practical, and Mars up here in Cancer being all about what it wants and its emotions and clinging to the past and things that, you know, have been important to it for a long time. And the moon's kind of come in as well to make a bit of a trine there. So, and a sextile to Mercury. And we've got Uranus involved as well in the whole kind of scheme of things, making a trine to Mercury. So again, we're looking at ideas of radical change, and Uranus ruling those Aquarius planets, the Pluto and the Sun. Radical change, radical solutions, perhaps, with this opposition here, but Mercury being realistic and saying, well, honestly, you know, you can't have everything. If you want this, you're really going to have to look at this. So practical steps might mean giving up some of the personal goals. Venus and Mars finally get together in their flowing trine aspect I mentioned earlier in the early hours of Saturday morning. So it's kind of Sunday morning rather. So it's kind of just about outside our remit, but it will be too late by Sunday to talk about it. So Uranus is pulling them into that mini grand trine of possibility. I was showing you this earlier. So if we move on to, yep, Sunday, actually, let's go back to Saturday. So you've got Uranus here and it's pulling them into a mini grand trine there. You see there's Venus, got those nice flowing aspects. Mini grand trine of possibility there. And Mercury is lining up for a nice sextile. That's, you know, efforts involved in a sextile, but it's very manageable to both the nodes and to and to our planet of dreams, Neptune there, with the moon sometime during that day making a nice trine to Chiron as well, sort of mitigating any pain we might be feeling about what we're having to kind of perhaps practical steps we're having to put in place. So this trine, it's romantic, it's about a coming together of, you know, the masculine and the feminine energies, brings in emotion, dreams, possibly family issues because Mars is still in Cancer, the involvement of those close to us. With Venus in Pisces, there's always compassion, but possibly some romance as well. But there can be the sense of a sacrifice or putting aside individual goals for something greater, something bigger, actually, something that we really, really want. And Mercury brings that realistic element into everything, into our dreaming with its sextile to Neptune. And to the nodes, bringing the nodes as well. And it's suggesting there that with a cool head, actually, dreams just might come true. So that's it for this week. Let me stop that share so I can see you all better. Hi. So join me again next week for some more exciting astrology. And if you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, really important, so the YouTube bots know that, you know that you like me too. And leave comments if you have any, that's always really welcome. I'll try to get back to you. Okay, thanks very much and see you next week.